teach you how to build up wealth for your family, not just for yourself. I'm a bestseller, a house flipper, a businesswoman, a go-getter, a big investor, a goal builder that could teach you to get richer like millions, baby. You really about to fill your savings. You about to have multiple streams to pass your children, baby. Let me teach you to get your credit on track in the long run. You'll make it all back at Catalyst and watch it all psychology black on firm, but we ain't all black.
Hey, what's happening? It's your girl, Constance Carter. And it is Wednesday. I am so excited to be here. And I see you guys all coming in. Come on in and make yourself at home. We are on the Fly Nubian Queen Network, the network for melanated people just like you and you and you. You got your two? Yes. So what's up, you guys? Listen, I have a very special guest today. But for the folks who are on Facebook, I want to make sure that you are you're subscribing to the Fly Nubian Queen on Facebook, and also Nobody Works Harder Than Constance Carter. So make sure you're doing that. And if you're on YouTube, if you're on Facebook, go over to YouTube and make sure you're hitting the thumbs up. Make sure you're subscribing to Fly Nubian Queen, and also Nobody Works Harder Than Constance Carter. Make sure you subscribe, and then you hit that alert button so that you can get alerted. Okay. So make sure you're on, you're subscribing, and you are sharing, because what I have for you today is something that is very special that I'm excited about. As an investor, I'm excited about having this conversation. For those of you who want to get into the game and who want to invest in yourself and make millions and millions of dollars, this may be something for you. Okay. So you know how we do every single night. I want to know where you're from. I want to make sure that you understand that this is a dialogue and it's not a monologue. So, you got to talk back to me, talk black to me. All right. So make sure that you are putting in the chat box where you're from, because I know we have people from all over the world, not just all over the United States. What's up, Ruby Johnson? B1. What's happening? Nate, how you doing out there? Jarrell, what's going on in Maryland? How you doing? Okay, Conyers, GA, Delmar, how you doing today? Thank you for tapping in. And I see everybody coming. There's thousands of people on here, and I see y'all. Go Black, sis. Okay, what's up, Scott from Kentucky? What's up, Eboniqua from South Carolina, and Christy in Texas, Queen Bella in LA. I know you want to hear some of this good today, you guys. I know, but I need to know where you're checking in from. We got Francine. Oh, Toya from Jacksonville, Florida. What's up? And I know we have people from other countries. So if Europe, stand up. If you're in London, if you are in Australia, we have people all across the pond, in Africa and France, that tune in every night. So I want to make sure that I recognize you. Join in. Again, you know how we do. We like to talk back to you and talk black to you. What's up, Nama? What's up, Nama from New York City? Vindelia from Philly. What's happening? And if this is your first time, make sure this is not your last time, because I come on here every day of the week at 6 p.m. Pacific time and 9 p.m. Eastern. Okay. And I always have something that's good for you, that builds up the community, that will help you in one way or the other. And today we have a young lady that I'm so excited about. She has gone from creating a $5 million trucking company. How many of you guys would love to have a trucking company or any kind of business that's worth $5 million? How many people here? Right? So this young lady's sister, beautiful sister, has the solution. She has the formula, and she's going to share with you all today. She's going to share with all of us, because this is something that I was actually interested in and possibly invested in myself, because I'm an investor, as you know. But this young sister, she's doing it out there. So I want to bring her on. Come on in. Come on in. There she is. Hey, lady, how you doing?
Hey, Constance, I'm well. How you doing?
I am so excited. I'm so excited to talk to you. So, we're just going to chop it up and chat it up like girlfriends. And you are, how long have you been in business? You're a businesswoman. How long have you been in business?
I have been in business in trucking for 16 years now.
Okay. What made you get into trucking?
So one day I got this epiphany that I didn't want to work, and I was going to put somebody else to work. And I was like, you know what? I'll get a truck. I'm going to throw somebody in it, and the rest is history.
Bada bing, bada boom. How long did it take you to build your business?
Oh, wow. I'm always building my business. Like, I'm all trying to find a way to work less and make more. So every so many years, I take it to another height. I would say in the last 3 years, though, I've been able to really scale, like NFL contract scale. But because it was rough at first, like the first 10 years was rough.
10 years?
Yeah,
10 years, like
10 years, a shit show. Like it was just horrible the first 10 years.
What made you keep going?
You know what? I was too invested, and I don't just mean money. I had to see how the story was going to play out. I was going to exhaust every possibility. I was going to get rich or die trying. I was either going to go flat broke and last breath in my body to make it work, or I was going to pop and it was going to work. One of the two, and the latter one.
So did you have experience in the trucking business before you got into the business?
Nope. I had no experience whatsoever, like none. My father wasn't a trucker. Nobody in my family was a trucker. I just had this wild idea, and it worked.
So when you got your trucking company, so did you like to start putting people to work, or did you start hiring people? Did people in your family work for you? How did you build that?
No, initially when I first started, like I said, one day I just got this epiphany. I'm going to get a truck, $80,000 truck. At that time I was like 25, so I didn't even have like adequate credit. I had a little BS job. So the first thing was like, okay, how am I going to get this equipment? And my mother graciously agreed to put it in her name for me. I hired a guy, off of Craigslist. And I thought like, okay, I made it, I got the driver, it's going, but he ended up living in my vehicle. Now, back then I started with dump trucks. So you have this great big old white guy, he looked like Santa Claus. And I would go to the truck and like all his clothes would be in there. Now we're talking about a dump truck. We're not talking about a sleeper tractor. So I was like, why is all your stuff in my truck? You know what I mean? He smelled bad. It was just horrible. I eventually started driving and, got
So you got your license?
Oh, honey, she's got a CDL. She's got a TWIC card. She's got a pilot's license. She has quite a few accolades behind her name. Yeah.
So when you got your license and you started driving the truck yourself?
I started driving because the first guy that I was telling you about, like I had to fire him, of course. And I hired somebody else. And in the middle of the day, one time I was having a business lunch and somebody called me and was like, I quit. Your truck I'm not even taking your truck back to the yard. I quit. It's here, wherever, go figure it out. So I had enough sense initially to at least get my permit because I was like, okay, I'm buying this expensive piece of equipment. Somebody has to be able to at least drive it. So I took the test. I went right to the DMV, got the CDL book. It was free. And desire is one hell of a drug. So I wanted that CDL. I passed that CDL test the first time. And when he quit, I was like, you know what? I had it. I'm going to just drive myself. So I drove for like 4 years on and off. I asked some mechanics I knew to help me drive. Laughed me off the mechanic lot. Like, you ain't no driver. Girl, you can't drive. I hired a guy to take me out one Saturday and one Sunday. And that Monday, I was on the road. Because I don't know if you guys know, if you have a permit and you can ride with somebody who actually has a license. So we're talking about 15, 16 years ago. So I was paying somebody like $75, $50 a day to ride with me. And I was on the road. I was working. I think you cut out. This was a dump truck. Yes, ma'am.
What? Am I?
Uh-oh. I think we got a bad connection, Constance. Say it again.
Hold on. I said how do you
Hey, I'm just gonna pop in while she's getting it together. So, tell us a little bit more about how that happened for you with just building out with the driving.
Yeah, so I mean, literally, like I was saying, that next day, I was on the road driving, like literally.
Nice. Now, how was that for you? Like actually getting behind the wheel and having somebody there with you and kind of just navigating that space. Like, were you scared? Were you nervous?
My mother's name was on the line. So I knew I had to make it work. That truck note was like $2,200 a month. I think I was paying like $600 a month in a week in fuel. So it was a do or die situation. Fear wasn't gonna help me. Like being scared was not gonna help me. So I'm a different type of like woman. I'm not really afraid of too much. If I say I'm gonna do something, and once I purpose it in my heart, I'm gonna do it. So I hit the button and I just, it was a couple times I almost killed myself. Like almost fell off a few cliffs and, just trying to learn mechanics of it all. But I mean, I can drive. Like, let something break down. I can kick these shoes off and I can handle it.
So wait, did you tell when you transitioned from the dump truck to your other trucks? How many trucks do you have?
No, he was asking about like about me driving, like when I first started. I ended
Okay.
up actually, Constance, once I scaled, and I'm jumping a little bit ahead, but I ended up scaling my business to doing federal contracts. So I was actually able to sell my entire fleet, thank God. Whew.
How many did you have?
Oh God,
what was your,
10.
how many? 10.
10. Yeah. I've had dump trucks, tractors, trailers. I've had quite a bit of equipment over the last 10 years.
Okay. And so you got, how did you get the government contracts?
So I would say about 7 years after I started in trucking, a friend of mine, he was doing a little bit of contracting, and he kept saying, Casey, you're a pretty girl, you're a smart girl, you need to leave these trucks alone and you need to manage, construction projects. Now, at the time, I had this truck note, I had these, equipment, I had drivers. My mind wasn't really even, I didn't have it for that. You know what I mean? Like I had what I had and my mind was focused on that. But maybe like 2 years later, I started kind of like taking classes and learning more about the federal side. And I just, again, took another jump and scaled my way on into Sam's, and I started getting government contracts. So then I was able to sell my entire fleet. And that's when my business really grew and took off.
Okay. I definitely want to get into the government contracts, but I'm curious, at 25 years old, how did you get the money to buy $80,000 truck?
So I didn't have any credit. And so my mom was like, I'll put it in my name for you. I had maybe like $2,500 I had saved up. So it was a very small down payment. Insurance was maybe, back then it was a little bit cheaper. Of course, everything goes up. But I had a couple little $1,000. And with her, my mother has really good credit. So she financed it for me. And I just hopped in there and I kept it moving.
Okay. Wow. Okay. So tell us about the government contracts, because that's where the real money is. How did you get into government contracts?
So surprisingly, like to get into government contracts is relatively easy in terms of the registration process. It's free. You just register. It takes about 21 days now to get, everything together and get approved. But it's not a lot of bells and whistles in terms of just signing up. If you have a LLC or S Corp or EIN, DUNS number, and a business bank account, you can contract to the government. There's no specific time in business you have to have. If you had a company you set up 2 days ago, you can register to do federal projects.
So I want to repeat what you just said. If you have a corporation, some type of entity, a DUNS number, an EIN, and what else? A bank account? A business bank account, then you can apply for government contracts. Y'all hear that, y'all? If you have an entity, an EIN, a DUNS number, and a business bank account, you can apply for government contracts, no matter what business that you are in.
Yep. Literally,
okay.
Like it's free. You go right to www.sam.gov. If you can navigate your way through the questions, because of course the lingo is a little different. We don't talk to each other like that. Then you can register and you can get rocking and rolling.
So what type of contracts were you doing?
So it's so crazy, Constance, because so the government goes by what's called NAICS codes. NAICS are 6-digit numeric codes that tell the government what services you offer. So when you go in SAM, you want to go find what NAICS codes you want to offer. And typically it's kind of a rule of thumb that you want to start with at least like 20, 25 codes. You want to offer a little bit of this, a little bit of that, because the government sector is just a little bit different than how we do business down here on earth, as I call it. Regular small businesses are kind of do one thing, like regular business to business. Well, government contractors, we scale and we do a multitude of things because there aren't that many of us. So when there's $7 trillion in the budget and it's only 200,000 of us, you got to offer more than one thing. So I had a certain code for snow removal. They literally called me up and gave me the first snow removal contract. I didn't have any prior experience in doing snow removal, but I did have experience managing transportation projects. Once I got the first contract, 3 weeks later, they called me and offered me the second contract about 30 miles away. And a year later, I got my $5.5 million contract.
Let's talk about Compass. this is where the juice is right here. So your journey is absolutely amazing. You look at the comments. Everybody is so inspired by you. People want to ask you questions, and we're going to get to that in a minute. But let's talk about Compass and what you do and how you're helping other people.
So the Compass Circle, I started about 2 years ago, maybe 2.5 years ago. For me, like when I would go to these government seminars and these government just meetings and stuff, it would be like me. I would be the only Black girl. And then it would be, of course, the room would be filled with white men in blazers, and they would be like 60 and up. So I felt very out of place. And a lot of times when I was trying to get education on terminology and processes and procedures, the stuff was so over my head. Like I would leave with information overload. But me, I'm not going to stand there and act like I don't know what you're talking about. So I'm yep, you're right. Yep. And then when I leave, don't know what the hell you're talking about, I'm going to go Google it and figure it out. So once I started kind of like getting further into it, I was like, wait a minute, it's a lot of opportunity here for women that look just like me. Why don't I break this down to like a basic, just layman's terms and start putting people on to help them navigate through their journey also? And Compass Circle was born.
So what does somebody have to do?
Well, it just depends. So
So say I'm brand new. I don't have no experience. I'm like you when you was 25. I don't know nothing about trucking. I just want to put my money somewhere and invest in something that I think is going to have a lucrative return. What do I need to do with Compass?
Typically, most of my clients are that way. They either have a background in trucking or they are just, I got a Ghost LLC. I don't know what I'm going to do, but I heard what you were talking about, and I want to get down. So same thing. Just like I told you earlier, LLC, EIN, business bank account, and DUNS number. That's the basis for any business, period. So they come to me and I kind of gauge them on, well, what is your previous background in? Government contracts isn't about you doing the work. It's about you managing and getting it done. So let's say I get a lot of nurses. Okay, well, there's contracts for nursing. You just have to put yourself in a position where you can go out and hire the staff to facilitate the job. So I typically start with, what is your background in? What do you feel comfortable doing? And we start there. We find the codes to, that correspond to that industry. And we go through the SAMS process. Either I assist or we do it for them. We get them a capability statement, a website, so that they can have the presentation, because a lot of us are so defeated because we are not, we don't have 10 trucks. We don't have 2 offices. We don't have, all this stuff. My business was on one leg, like one ankle, like one pinky toe when I started. But my presentation, when I went in that room and I laid out my stuff, they didn't know what I had going on, back in the yard. So I tell people, presentation, you never get a second chance to make a first impression. So just kind of groom them and help them along, look at different contracts, kind of help them start. Or on the trucking side, if they just kind of need like a strategic plan, because a lot of them just, hey, my homeboy got a truck, I got an LLC, let's go. That ain't gonna work. You got to have a, trucking ain't really about the truck. It's about the trailer, what you gonna haul, to be honest. So just trying to change the mindset and give people other resources that will turn you up a lot faster, instead of just trying to do hand-to-hand business, one customer at a time. Millionaires are not made one customer at a time. They're made by big plucks, as I call them. Like, somebody have to give you an account. You need a contract. Like, you need the work. So whether they are trucking or any industry, whether it's government contracts or local, state, and federal contracts, wherever they are, we can, meet them where they are and help them.
So are you helping people with all government contracts or just specific to trucking?
No. Any kind of contract. There are contracts for weave and toupees. There's contracts for permanent makeup. There's contracts for floral, pet food, soybeans. We think from a standpoint of just, products and services. But if you think about every single federal, we call them reservations, which is federal, properties all over the United States. That's the U.S. embassies. That's federal cemeteries. That's the Mint, the Pentagon. All of those buildings have to be maintained. They need power, lights, water, food, pencils, pens, paper, collar shirts, socks, wounded vets, and it's all kind of facets and nuances. Department of Energy, Department of Defense, Department of Forestry.
Uh-oh. Hope she gets back in. This is some good stuff, y'all. Oh my God. So now listen, We're gonna tell you, Kenitra, how you can get more info because we're gonna go into her business. But just to her point, I have a friend of mine who does government contracting like this, and she does government contracting with cleaning. Started out with a small cleaning business, and then built on that, and then started getting government contracts. This lady's a millionaire. Okay, she also works with me in some capacity. And shoot, a few months ago, she bought herself a building for her company in the Silicon Valley, paid over $1 million in cash. This is money she got out of her bank account. She's making millions. And so government contracts, when you think about what it is that you want to do, think about that thing. Think about what you're gifted in. And what Casey can help you do is she can help you set it up. So it's basically government contracts in a box. She's going to help you set it up, get everything together, get your presentation together, get your website together, bada bing, bada boom. And now you are ready and set for government contracts. How does that sound? How many people love that? Yes. So obviously, I'm so excited. Wait a minute. Fab Queen Warrior. Go back to Fab Queen Warrior. I'm so excited. I'm tearing up. I gave up and tuned into a blessing. I'm so glad, girl. Listen, this was absolutely for you. And for all the people who are tuned in today, this message from Case, this is absolutely for you. So for those of you, hang in there because she's coming back. And we're going to get the keys to the kingdom. Okay. And this is what I love about, being on the show and just coming here every day, just trying to give something that's going to help benefit us in some way so that we can build our community. Now, remember, when you get this information right now, as you're watching, because she's coming back in, make sure you share it. Okay. So make sure you share this information on your page, share it in all business groups, share it because people need to hear this. But the thing about it is you cannot keep this information to yourself. So once you learn, each one teach one. And that's the biggest thing about wealth creation in our community is you have to teach others to be able to do the same. There she is. Girl, they are saying, somebody said, I got tears in my eyes. She said, I got tears in my eyes. I gave up and I tuned into a blessing. Good stuff. Always learn something every time I tune in. Thank you, Janae. I'm so glad that you in. Kenitra said this is so inspiring. They are full. And guess what? There are thousands of people that are watching right now, and they are so inspired by your story. I did clean houses for a living, but I never thought of anything like that. I'm going to clean. What I was telling them is I have a friend who does government contracting. She had a cleaning business. Just like you were saying, they need everything. And this girl, she purchased a building a few months ago and paid over, I think it was about $1.8 million in cash from her own bank account. I mean, cleaning, right? Started out as probably a little Johnny King or something like that, and went on to have government contracts. So whatever capacity that you are in, you can get these government contracts. And guess what? She gonna give you the keys to the kingdom right now. So go ahead and finish. Tell them what you was telling them because it's good stuff.
I just want to piggyback off that. So initially, there are a lot of different ways that you can kind of meander your way through. Some people do a lot of bidding. Some people rely heavily on the certifications. It's so many different ways. The government can literally just pick up the phone and call you and give you a contract, and that's on period. So I had a woman-owned certification. I had economically disadvantaged woman-owned, and I had woman-owned. So I was able to get my first 2 contracts because I had those designations. I'm also in a program. It's called the 8, the number 8 in the letter A. It's called the 8A program. That is a 9-year program that allows the government to just give you a contract $7 million or less. I'm in my 4th year. My 4th year just started February of that certification, and I have about 5 years left. But with COVID, they extended for 1 year because everything was such in disarray. There are a lot of companies, whether you are woman-owned or you have just been in business and you can show on paper, hey, I have the potential for growth. Hey, I've had my business 2 or 3 years. It might not be a lot, but every year I'm doing better. I'm grossing a little bit more because they're looking for the potentiality for success. Now, of course, if you haven't done $2 million worth of work and you can't substantiate that on paper, they're not just going to give you a contract. Just like you go to a hairdresser saying, hey, I want a long weave and, you've never done hair. It's not.
And she's like, yeah.
But a lot of us, even myself, when I came in, I had already been in business for 10 years. So it was nothing for me to get a $250,000 contract because I could show that I had already done that work. It was nothing for me to get a $5 million contract because I had done $200 million power plants. I had done work with the port. So a lot of women out there, or businesses in general, because unfortunately they don't give any set asides to Black males. So, it just is what it is. But if you have the experience, if you've been in business for 2 years, there's a waiver that you can bypass if you've been in business for 1 year, but the average business isn't really booming after the first year. So
yeah, I
I
was told don't get an 8A until you've been in business a few years because you'll waste that time in the contract and you don't have the experience, right?
Yeah, I mean, you just want to really show you have to show this is about growth. They understand that you're a small business and they understand that you need a leg up. That's what the whole situation is about. But you want to really have, like, for instance, we do 8A certifications for people all the time. And it is such a challenge for a lot of minority companies to get things together like balance sheets, profit and loss. But those are things that you should have anyways if you're running a business. So sometimes you just need that exercise. Sometimes you just need the experience to kind of get moving. But those are two really, 8A has changed my life completely. I would not have gotten that contract if I wasn't in the 8A program. That is literally like getting an NFL contract or a basketball contract. I'm the only one in my family who's really reached this level in business. So it's really mind blowing.
So when you talk about your P&Ls and your balance sheets and things like that, are you helping people with that as well?
No, I'm not an accountant, child. I don't even like numbers. Okay.
Yep.
I have a very good CPA that, she's been with me for a while, but, and I always say outsource, I outsource everything I do, whether it's Compass Circle, whether it's, whatever. I always try to get somebody who has expertise because it saves me time. And even though I have to pay for it, it saves me money down the road because if it's saving me time, it's saving me money. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So I outsource everything. So go to somebody who is more knowledgeable about your taxes than you. I'm not a tax accountant. You're probably not a tax accountant. So I just outsource everything. Like that's my rule of thumb.
Yeah. And to your point, so there's a lot of people that are on here that are inspiring to be business owners. And one of the things that you have to make sure you do is make sure you create a solid foundation as you go along. I heard of so many stories where people have gone skyrocketed their businesses and they didn't have the solid foundation and ended up, there's one lady and her name escapes me, but I met her at an event at Facebook and I keep forgetting her name. I remember her name, but she did Nasty Gal clothing, right? And she made like $50 million and it's so great and ended up filing bankruptcy because she shot up so quickly. She didn't have a solid foundation. So when we're talking about getting your P&Ls together, when we're talking about, making sure all of your ducks are in a row, make sure you have, you're not going to be able to get any contracts without an EIN and, an entity created, some type of LLC or corporation or whatever it is. Make sure that foundational stuff is together. And then you can start building on top of that. Because the worst thing in the world that you could do is get some money and then you don't have anything, you lose it all. And so that's important. And to your point about the us not having like only 3%, I think, of African Americans actually get SBA loans. I got an SBA loan. Terrible, right? And
I was an SBA loan. I actually got approved. I can show you the paper, and it fell through.
Wow.
They approved me and everything. I had to pay origination fees, and it fell through, and that drastically devastated my business. So one of the 7A loans, to your point, it's one of the hardest loans you can get. Mm-hmm. But I didn't know that. I'm just going for it. So I tell people all the time, I have failed forward so that you don't have to. You know what I mean? I would hate for anybody to really go through half the things I went through because I'm just a different pedigree of person. Like it's just in my lineage. We just don't quit. Mm-hmm. That is not a slogan. That's not, I think it's hot. That's really my grandfather, Anthony Cooper. Oh, he was about the action. So I have that in me. I'm never going to quit. I'm never going to stop. It's bred into me. But a lot of people don't have that fortitude. They don't have that mindset and they don't have that support. So if you can glean something from my story or anybody else's story to make it a little bit easier for you, that's what we are here to do, share information.
Yeah. And I love it when you said, listen, I was on my last leg. My business was on my last leg, but you would have never known when I went to do my presentations that my business was struggling in the way it was. And I remember when I would have to decide whether I was going to pay the lease to my building or my mortgage. When you have to make those types of choices and decisions, that tells you, if you got it, if you say, listen, I believe in myself that this business is going to take care of my personal, then you're going to make it. You know, if you say, you know what, listen, my family come first. I got to eat. I got to keep a roof over my head. Okay, cool. This being a business owner may not be for you.
Right.
For me, I decided to pay my, hey, we was late on the mortgage, but now I own the largest African-American owned real estate firm in California because I had to make those sacrifices. And to your point, you're out there doing a damn thing on your last leg, but then present, how you put that together so that you can get basically a Super Bowl contract in trucking. You heard me? I mean, that's crazy. And it's unheard. I see more and more people getting the government contracts, but it's not as heard of for us as it is for other people. And so I'm so glad that Compass Circle is helping people to be able to do that. So what do they need to do?
It just depends. You guys can reach out to me. I'm totally accessible. I do consultations because I need to know where you are. Like, really, no two people are in the same exact financial business. They're just not in the same space. So that I can spend that time with you to kind of see, okay, where do you go? What do you want? First of all, what do you want to do? You know what I mean? A lot of people don't even know what they want to do. They just know they want some money. And it's a little bit more than that. You have to really decide what kind of lifestyle do you want? I thought that I thought that the thing to do rather was go get this corporate office and, hire all these employees. And in retrospect, that's not how I run my company at all. And I don't want to. The more people that you have in your mix, the further away your company gets out of your hands. And I have a very firm grasp on my company, and that's how I'm going to keep it. So they can reach out. I'm all over social media. I have a very pretty large platform on Instagram at the Compass Circle. We'll set up a consultation and get you guys going, whether it's on the trucking side of the house or whether it is on the government contracting side of the house.
So I'm super excited. I'm already got the money spent, the investment spent. So I'm ready to go. I'm so serious. But so for those of you who are just tuning in, because I see people coming in, people are still coming in, hundreds of folks coming in. We're talking to Miss Casey Cooper, who is the owner of the Compass Circle. And what's the name of your trucking company? So the Compass Circle is your business that you consult on your government contracts. What's the name of your trucking company?
NACE Incorporated.
NACN?
NACE Incorporated.
NACE Incorporated. And then, so what types of things do you haul right now? And what types of government contracts do you have?
Snow, we bus children to school, landscaping, a little bit of construction, logistics. It just depends. If I see something that I feel like I can go after, I'll go after it. Or sometimes they'll call me up and offer me different things. So once you really start growing, it's really all about project management. Once you have managed a certain amount of contracts, you can manage another one. And a lot of these industries kind of pair well together. Trucking goes with logistics, logistics and trucking is staffing, you know what I mean? So once you kind of start going, you can do freight arrangements. That's just the arrangement of freight. Well, that's logistics. That's trucking, you know what I mean? Blood courier services. It just depends whatever's out there on any given day. I would say there's about 100,000 contracts that come out all over the world. So there's no shortage of opportunity. It just depends on, where you are and what you want to do and how far you want to take it. So it's out there.
So are all your contracts, are all of them transportation contracts, or because I heard you say you do landscaping and
no, not all of them are transportation. Like I said, once you get in, so let's just say that you
are killing it.
Yeah. Well,
oh my God, that is so dope.
Somebody got to kill it.
Yes.
It's funny because it's people who are contracting on way larger scales than me. My mentor has a $750 million contract. In her 50s. It's not her only contract. And she's killing, my little she's black. She's in her 50s. She worked for the government and she got tired of seeing all this money cross her desk. So she said, you know what? I'm taking early retirement. I'm gonna give myself 2 years, and she is killing it. But I do very well on social media also. I mean, when we do business with our own people, we're the largest spenders in the world. Right. So that's a whole nother lane, doing events and, classes and coaching. That's a whole nother bag that's really neck and neck with my contracting bag, to be honest, at this point. And I've only been doing it for 2 years. So the world is up for grabs, y'all. We just got to grab it,
I want to say that one more time.
The world is up for grabs.
That's what I want everybody to understand. And that's what we really try to do on this platform, is to show people the opportunities. The thing about it, and I'll say this until I die, we are in the best time in the history of the world. We really are. where
Say that.
there's so many opportunities. You know, you got the internet that really levels the playing field for us. You know, you're not at somebody else's mercy.
That's
When
right.
you want to start your own business, you can start your business. You can be whoever you want to be on the internet. You could be you could do whatever. You could have a home-based business and make millions of dollars without even stepping out your house. You know, I interviewed Michael V. Roberts, he's a billionaire, and he said that we have more technology in the palm of our hands with our phones than they had when they put the man on the moon.
Listen.
Okay. When NASA put the man on the moon, we have more technology here in the palm of our hands, so we can do anything. It's just a matter of having that motivation and mindset, like you said, to go out there and do it and be consistent.
And not be afraid.
Yeah.
I'll be honest. I was a little apprehensive. I wasn't scared, but you know, social media is also a very weird place. You know, people could just look at the screen and be like, "Oh my God, I don't like this beat. Like, I hate her guts." You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I didn't want the backlash, and I really can honestly say, if I had to juxtapose it, I probably have 10% negative, and everything else is positive. And then, I mean, when you make $80,000 in a day online, I don't care what you got to say about me. Like, hello. It don't matter. So, you know, it's just, don't be afraid. Go after it. Whatever industry you're in, or whatever hobby or little, you know, little kind of, we like these weird little cliche things. Black women who knit, Black women who deep sea dive. It's 8 billion people on the planet. It's another Black deep sea diver somewhere on the planet looking for you. So you just got to go for it, you know?
So what do you do? So what type of stuff do you do on your social media, like your online stuff? You said it's equal to your government contracting.
Yeah. It's equal. It's more rewarding, and I don't have to answer to anybody. When you get these government contracts, you have to answer to your contracting officer and to that agency. Well, I don't have to do that on social media. So I've created a program. It's called the Turnkey Program, where we basically set up your entire trucking company for you, and we hire the fleet for you, so that you don't have to go out here and buy a truck and go through all the hell I went through. Because if you're not really a trucker, if you got a 4-year-old and a 1-year-old and a 6-month-old at home, you don't need to be out there on the road, you know? Mm-hmm. So we put you in a position just like these JB Hunts and these Snyders, to where we set up the company for you. Everything is outsourced. The dispatching is outsourced. The drug and alcohol is outsourced. Your IFTA stickers, everything's done for you. And we hire the fleet for you. So now you're getting 15, 20% off of all of these trucks under you. So, and it's all profit. It's, you know, the drivers have to pay for their, you know, cost of doing business, insurance, fuel, stuff like that. But your percentage is your percentage. So now you go from being a little trucker, you know, loads off of a load board, to I got 4 trucks running under my authority, and I'm getting 20% of their loads every week. These guys can grow 7 to 10,000 in a week. So 20% of that times 4 trucks for 8 months, 2 years, 3 years, it's going to add up.
Wow. So you do that, and they don't have to really do anything but invest the money?
Yep, we take care of everything. We do the in-house dispatching, because I mean, I'm personally involved. Like, I set it up too. So once I spend weeks setting up your company, I can't just let you go to some dispatcher who I know may or may not care about your success. I have to make sure you succeed. So we have in-house dispatching as well. And like I said, you're the owner, so you have to make sure that the bills get paid, like your insurance is paid. But all you have to do basically is, the dispatcher is going to send your rate confirmations being how much the load paid, how far it went, you know, yada, yada, yada. You invoice that to your factoring company. You get the money. You take out the percentage, your percentage off the top. You do the deductions for fuel, or, you know, drug and alcohol, insurance. And what's left, you pay your owner operator. So you probably maybe have to spend 1 hour a week invoicing, probably not even that. And you can do that whether you have a job, or you're a housewife, or you got something else going on, because your dispatcher is basically the nucleus of your company. She's the one telling that truck where to go and how much, you know, money he's earning. So it works. It works by itself.
So is there a huge need for in this business? Oh
yeah, it's a trucking company. I mean, things are harder to get now with the pandemic. So we also looking at the business model. So hiring a driver, let's just say you go out constantly and you buy a truck. Okay, you have minimal experience on, you know, trucking. I'm not going to say don't do it, but trucking is too expensive to just be gambling and you're not going to drive. Like, you have to do something to cut down your expenses. One of the main expenses is going to be that insurance, and who's going to drive that truck. Now, if you can drive, or your husband can drive, that's a different story. If you have a surplus of money somewhere, that's a different story. But a lot of trucking companies do not last because generationally, we just don't have the funds to go out here and your truck's running 500-mile radiuses and you breaking down all over the place. We don't really have that, generational backing to withstand that type of, obstacle course. So when you put yourself in a different position and you're like, okay, let me open my own authority. Okay. Let me get some guys who already have trucks, but don't have their own authority. They're already trucking. They're already in the business. You know what I mean? They're already out there. Let me get them to work for me. Now you don't have all the overhead of the truck because the truck is theirs. That's their responsibility. You don't have the responsibility of trying to find a driver because it's very high driver turnover ratio in trucking. I have used my government contracting background and project management to really change my whole mindset. So instead of me going to hire somebody to do something for me, I'm going to hire the company. Typically, a person that's a small business owner has a family to feed. They're in business too. Your owner operators are small businesses as well. So now we're doing business in a different capacity because I'm not just hiring Tyrone off the street. I'm hiring a business owner, 1, 2, 3 trucking to come, and in turn, I make sure the insurance is paid. I make sure his loads are dispatched, which that's outsourced through us. So you can go off and do other things. And that's how you really add up. And you don't have to spend so much time looking for loads. You can go off and do something else and get you another bag. So it works. I mean, we have about 40 people in the program now. We just started in December. That program is booming. Like when I say booming, it's booming.
So Casey, so once they make the investment, how quickly do they make their money back?
I would say give it anywhere from about 4 to 7, 8 months, just because there are some delays. I don't know if you guys know about IFTA decals, but IFTA is international fuel tax. So to put it really quickly, every state that you run through, you have to track the mileage and the fuel that you buy in each state. So those decals in a lot of states right now with the changes we're seeing with the DMVs, of course, now everything is by appointment only. We're setting up a trucking company for you in the middle of a pandemic. So there are some delays outside of our control. But I would say give it about, 8 months or so to see a full return on your investment. That's one side of it. Now, the first year in this business, you can have up to 4 trucks under your authority. So I always say as a rule of thumb, we can find you 1 truck. Once we process the paperwork and everything for you, we also give you digital marketing materials so that you can go and post on social media, Facebook. Everybody want to be in trucking now. So you're going to go and present yourself and say, hey, I have a trucking company. Come run under me. We charge a very low percentage. I tell you what to say. You're going to learn from me also. Get in these Facebook groups and get 3 more people to come run under you. I've already done the work for you. So all you got to do now is call up the insurance company. I already set up the policy for you. Just say, hey, I want to add another vehicle. And you do that and you fill up those slots. So now you have 4 trucks running under you, grossing minimally, I would say $1,400 a week per truck. So $1,400 a week times 4 for the next 3-4 years. And you don't have to do much for it. It ain't hard to, it's not hard to decide.
An hour worth of work a week. Come on. So with that, so would you recommend, so say somebody, because look, people are interested, they are going crazy in the feed right now. So say somebody wanted to do that and they started there and then kind of the transition into the government contracts, would you recommend them do it that way?
Absolutely. So year before last, I spent a lot of time just talking about the government contracting side. What I was finding is that so many people did not have that past performance. So once you set up, it's called the turnkey trucking business. Once you set up the turnkey trucking business, you can then go and say, hey, this is my trucking company. These are my owner operators. I've had this trucking company for, a year or 2. This is all the loads I've hauled, over the course of the last 2 years. Now you didn't haul them, but your owner operators did. But that is past performance that substantiates your work history. Then you take that and you scale over into the government contracts. Now you have your bread and butter running every day, which is your trucks. And you also have your government contracts. So you're getting 2 different type of bags simultaneously.
Okay.
And that's game.
Ooh. Come on, y'all. Are y'all excited? Okay, so I'm gonna reset the room again. So y'all, we got Casey Cooper. Casey Cooper, right? Cooper, your last name?
Yep.
Miss Casey Cooper got basically a Super Bowl contract. I don't want to say that because folks are going to come on here and be like, she got a Super Bowl contract. She has a trucking business, a $5 million trucking business, has government contracts. She does consulting, and she will help you basically take your business idea and get government contracts. She can also help you set up a turnkey trucking company. And oh my God, it sounds like it's too good to be true.
It ain't. It's
And
just I'm
that's
the only one doing it. Like nobody in the this is a new, like nobody's doing this.
nobody's doing this but you.
No.
And isn't that a beautiful thing? Like I said, this is the best time in the history of the world because you can create something, a lane that nobody else is doing, and create millionaires. And that's what I see for you. I see that you're getting ready to create a whole lot of millionaires
Oh,
by
definitely.
doing this.
It's so funny because like JB Hunt, CRST, all these big, large white corporations have been up on game. Like they have thousands of owner operators all day, every day. But, you know, for us, it's just a little bit different. So through all of my heartache and pain, and I'm gonna be honest, it's been rougher for me for longer than it has been good. But I'm in my second season. I'm 40 years old. You know, things have turned for me. I'm in my condo in Miami. Like I got my house in Virginia. You know, it's just really turning. So I have no choice but to pay it forward and to help somebody else who wants to be in transportation, who wants to be in trucking, but you're gonna do it this way so that you're the boss and you don't have all that overhead.
Wow. So I want to start getting to some of the questions because people are really excited about what you're talking about. And I want to make sure that we're able to answer some of the questions. So Charles, let's pull up some of the questions that folks had in the feed because I want to make sure that they get everything that they need. I know somebody asked, you know, what's the cost for your consultation? I'll start there. But Charles, can you start getting do you need experience to start your program?
Nope. We set up the entire entity for you. So if you have the LLC, the EIN, and the DUNS number, we will set up your MC, DOT, drug and alcohol, factoring, dispatch. We set it all up for you.
Is that like fire freight brokers?
No, it's not a freight broker at all because it's your actual company. You're going to have a operating authority with your own owner operators running under you. So it's not a freight broker at all.
Freight broker. Okay. How much is your consultation?
My consultations are $299 for 1 hour. That's it.
$299.
$299 exactly.
Not $2,999. It's $299. If y'all don't blow this woman up right now and invest the $299 in yourself,
okay,
because you are your biggest commodity, you are your biggest asset, and if you really want to invest $299 in yourself to change your life, then to hell with you. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. If you can't invest $299 into a consultation to pick the brains of this brilliant woman who could possibly set you up to make millions of dollars. And again, let's go back. Consistency is the key to success. So you have to continue, because a lot of times we'll get started. And if you didn't have the faith and the fortitude that you had, you would not nowhere have been here. And you may have been in a corporate job or doing whatever, but you were able to push past, even though you was on your last leg, like you said, even though things weren't going your way, you still pushed, you still were consistent, you still got up and you worked every single day, and look at where you are today. So this is a true testament that a lot of times we'll be right there. And then we'll just stop short of the goal and we'll give up.
Or on the other side, sometimes it takes a little longer. Like I was a late bloomer. I thought that when I was going, 25, 26, 27, 28, or even when you look now at a lot of the younger culture, because I'm a little bit, old, so whatever. These young kids are killing it. These hairstylists, these makeup artists, they're making millions of dollars. But I felt like I spent so much time struggling that now it's finally, my harvest is here. So it's just an easier way to do things. But I was always working hard. Like I was taking the hardest route, and you don't have to do that. Right.
And that's what I love. I always say that you should use your hardships as a blueprint to help somebody else. That's exactly what you did, is you're using your hardships so you went through it so that we don't have to.
That's right.
And I love the way that because the give back is everything. The give back, when you give back, you're going to get, 20, 100-fold more back to you. But I know it's not about what you can get. I know it's about what you can give. And that makes all the difference in the world, you guys. Let's go back to some questions. Were there any more questions, Charles? Oh, shoot. I got this boy's laptop. So I'm 47. I wish I knew about this trucking business years ago. I'm 45.
Trucking is not going nowhere. Like, just to give you guys, look, it's not going, just to give you guys, so this is all a part of global supply chain. Like everything that we order. So America and China are the two biggest importers and exporters in the world. We share and ship between each other all the time. So once the boat gets to here, everything that comes off that ship has to get to you by way of truck. Mm-hmm. So there is no shortage of opportunity there, especially with the pandemic. The rates are up right now because it's a lot harder to get things and people have to pay more for them. So this is the greatest time to be alive. Like, you really have to take full advantage. And I mean, start now.
So Celeste said, how do I invest?
So if you guys go to my website, www.thecompasscircle.com, you will see a link that says turnkey trucking business. You just click that link and you can read through all the things that I've shared with you here, and you can purchase right on the site.
Rosie, she said, what made you start your business? And we actually talked about that in the beginning. So after the broadcast, go ahead and rewind and watch it again. And again, guys, make sure there are thousands of people on here. Make sure you're sharing it. Make sure you're sharing the link if you're on YouTube. Make sure you're hitting the thumbs up, hearting us out, because we want as many people to see as possible. So Demetria said, what's the IG?
At The Compass Circle.
I like what Nama said. She said, you guys imagine this is so affordable. Some charge $2,000 an hour. That's why I said
Yeah,
$299. Are you out of your mind? Yes. I better get it while her prices is low. Come on, somebody.
I just remember being like, I was divorced and I had my 2 kids, and I know how it is. I mean, I get it. So it has to be affordable so that the average person can, get the information.
I love that. Night Rider said, I'm confused. So as an owner operator, what's the benefit for the driver?
Employment, Night Rider. You need a job, right? The owner operator can either drive his own truck, or he would hire a driver that driver needs. The driver, you might have a CDL, but you might not have a truck, but you need a job. So that's the benefit. Money, employment.
What about the tech boom that Elon Musk and Andrew Yang is talking about? They believe trucking is going to be automated. I want to jump in, but I'm scared.
Those changes are not going to take place for quite some time. Like, even if you look at the internet came out when I was 13, and we still have it, and it's changed a lot. But for every single vehicle in the world to be changed over to electric or whatever, that's going to take quite some time. You've made your money and moved on to something else by then.
Hello. Make your money, invest your money, reinvest your money. Tiffany said, can you give us the website again?
Yes,
and
the website
Charles, put it in the chat so we can put it up on the screen, please.
The website is www.thecompasscircle.com.
D Black said, how much is the charge for the trucking business setup?
So we have 2 different sides of the house for the trucking setup. For us to set up your trucking company is $9,999, and each owner operator that we hire for you, and that you have a signed lease, they're locked into you, is $10,000 per truck.
I'll be wiring my funds next week. I have an EIN, an MC number, DOT with the feds. I'm working on my state registration and IFTA. I have a pro website and a factoring company. Will I still be a good client for you since I'm more than halfway in?
Yes, that's a good question. So we offer discounts. If she already has her MC, there's a discount for that. If she already has some of the components, it'll be discounted.
Oh, Latashi. Casey is a one-stop shop with so much knowledge. She's been my mentor for going on 2 years. If you are serious about you, she is too. No cap. No cap.
Thank you, Tashi.
My kids say that. No cap. I was like, well, what's that mean?
That's my secret weapon right there. What's
that?
Tashi. She works with me. She's my secret weapon. Like, I cannot do this without her. Like,
oh, girl, you got to have one. You got to have a glue.
You gotta have one.
James said, what's the startup fee for your company, for starting a company? And this must be the trucking company, right? So you already said $9,999.
Yeah. Plus you don't, and here's the thing. If you have like a certain amount of money, you can go out and find your own owner operator. Like, one thing about me, I try to give different, variables for different people. You may only have $15,000 and you're like, listen, I want to invest. You can find your own owner operator. We'll still give you the digital materials to go post and, hey, come run under me. But if you want us to find that person for you, and believe me, I have a whole plethora of owner operators, then that's the fee also, is $10,000 for the truck. But if he wants to find his own, then it would just be $9,999 for the setup.
So what about for the government contract?
Government contracts is a little bit different because that takes a little bit longer depending on your aptitude for learning. And it's more sit down, let's get on a Zoom call, and it's more hourly, but I only charge $299 per hour.
Okay.
And I'm fast. Like, I talk fast. And here's the thing about me. I don't have all day to be on the phone with you. Okay. So really, we're going to have one call. It's going to be, the consultation to see where you are. That next call is going to be a 2-hour call. After that 2-hour call, you shouldn't need me for at least another 45, 60 days. So the calls get a little bit more in depth, but I run through the motion of boom, 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 boom. This is where you need to start. This is what you need. Because I don't have all that time to be sitting on the phone with people all day. And you don't have money to be paying me all day long either. So I get to it rather quickly.
So say somebody who's busy, who has a 9 to 5, and they want to get into government contracting. How much time is it going to take them out of what they're doing to like really get going with the government contracting piece?
It just depends. Government contracts is different because it depends on, I don't want to say it depends, but some of the factors included but not limited to where you are located. Let's say you're in California and there's a woman-owned contract coming up for zippers or something. If you have the code for the zippers, they can just call you and give you the code. So some of it is, geography. Some of it is just luck of the draw, what's coming out at that particular time. It is a lot of reading, though. It is a lot of, I call it busting down. Like you got to look at that contract and bust down what the scope of work is. If you're not the strongest reader, if you're not really the strongest comprehender on paper, maybe get somebody to help you. But it's like more research based. So it just depends. If you have a 9 to 5 and you're willing to allocate, the weekends to it, you definitely can, still get an opportunity. But it just depends. I mean, with anything, you're going to get in what you put out. So, it just depends on your aptitude.
So I'm talking from the very, very beginning. I'm not talking about in terms of like getting the government contracts, but like, so say I'm starting off and I'm trying to get set up and all that stuff. Like how much time will that take to get set up, get the business set up? You already have your business, but get all that, get your NAICS codes and get registered and all that stuff. Like how much time does that take?
Pre-COVID, the registration used to take 10 days. Now it's taking 21 days. So if you can fill out the application, put in your codes, put in your information, and there's no hiccups, it'll take you about 21 days to get in and register. Once you get in and register, you now have access to what's called beta SAMs, which is where all the contracts come out every day. So at least if you get to that point, you can at least look and see what's coming out every day. It's almost like double Dutch. Like, okay, hold up. I see some. Hold up. I see some. I think I can do that. Hold up. And then at some point you jump, So it kind of just depends on the person or what you got going on in life. But if you are dedicated and you are steadfast in your conviction and you mean business, you can get in and make something happen relatively quickly. It's not really it's not rocket science, or it can be.
It ain't rocket science. So would you recommend that the folks, especially because we have mostly Black people that tune into this channel, the station, would you recommend that they get the WOSB, the women-owned small business, and the NMS, in the disadvantaged, and being I bought a building, and one of the reasons why I bought it was because it was in a hub zone. Would that be okay? So all of those things are helpful to being able to.
Absolutely. That's why they're there. So woman-owned, for instance. Most of us don't even use woman-owned. You know who uses woman-owned?
White women.
Do you think that a white woman that, you're taking your son to school every day and you're going to PTA meetings, you don't know what your husband's out there doing at L&L construction company, but he gave her 51% of the company. So now they're rocking. And I mean, I hate to say it, but sometimes that's what it is. So if you have
backing down on it, I thought they were coming in to see if the women were actually part of the.
How do you really know though? I mean, you don't really know that she's there in the office doing anything. You know what I mean? They are trying to crack down on it. And there's so many changes, even as of October 15th of last year, you can't even self-certify anymore. You have to go through, a third party. So they are making these changes because they're not dumb. Like they're looking at the data saying, oh, hold up. More of them coming in. Hold up. Skirt. Okay, move that over there, and did it? Nobody's dumb. So we have to keep up with, what's going on and the changes and get in. If we're not taking advantage, we can't be mad at anybody else that's taking advantage if we're not.
So I want y'all to understand what Casey's saying. So the people who are using the women-owned designations are mostly white men, and they will have their women, their wives, as 51% owners of these companies so that they can get these designations, so that they can get these government contracts. Now they already have a leg up. But now they have, and these are here for us to be able to take advantage of them because we don't have the same opportunities, and yet they are abusing the system to do this. And so we have to make sure that I remember, Casey, there's this organization, I'm from the Silicon Valley, and there was this organization, it was an African-American organization. The guy died, but I forgot what it was, but it was a meeting that they were having about getting government contracts, right? It was for Black people. I go up in this meeting, it's about 150 people there. Me and the people who was throwing it were the only Black people there.
Welcome to my world. I mean, most of the people that do government contracts are white. That is a fact. So of course, most of the people who benefit from the woman-owned certification are going to be white. That's not rocket
But
science.
this specific meeting was for Black people. How can Black people do business with the government? And it was the people who were organizing it, and me, and everybody else was white or Asian.
But if you don't show up, you cannot complain. Like,
you cannot. That's what I'm trying to tell y'all.
I'm not the first person to talk about government contracts. Well, maybe I am. But anyways, I'm just saying, I'm not the first person to ever talk about it. But I found it because I was serious about my growth and my development. I actually took a 2-week course in another part of the state that you had to go. They didn't pay you to show up. You had to go. You had to stay there on campus for 2 weeks. I took 2 weeks out. You were in class every day from 8 o'clock in the morning to 10 o'clock at night. I was the only Black girl, only business owner. I sat with the engineers and people from VDOT and, all these high level, the people that put the roads, like the direction of the roads down on paper. And I sat there for 2 weeks because I wanted to know, where the hell is this money coming from? Well, guess what? It paid off because the money is coming from the federal government, whether that's on a local level or a state level. And also, I mean, there's private sector, you can do airports. HBCUs now have funding to do construction because they build all the time. Ports, it's so many places that have money. We're just not looking in the right places.
Come on, y'all. Come on. Ken Skate said this is what reparations look like.
Oh, hello. I don't beg nobody for nothing. I know where to get my reparations from. Okay.
And the thing about it, you guys, is it's enough money. You can't depend on nobody to save you. They're not going to save you. It's enough money out there for all of us to have it. The question is, are you going to do what it takes to get it? Period.
There is more money in the budget than contractors to do the work.
Exactly. Hello. So what does that mean, you guys?
At the ports. Ports is global money. We will go run containers out of a port, but we will not go sit down and ask for a meeting and say, hey, I want 1,000 containers a month. We won't do that though. I've done that though. It paid off very well. So you just about posture. You got to posture yourself a little bit different to get more. If you want half the pie, go ask for the whole thing.
You know what? Scare money don't make money. And you have to be willing to be fearless. You just got to be willing to be fearless and do it. But you got to put in the work, because don't think Casey just woke up one day and was like, yeah, I'm about to go pop my collar and let me sit up in these rooms with these people and I'm gonna just go ahead and ask them. No, she put in the work. You hear her say she was in the class for 2 weeks. You hear her say she went through she read, she educated herself. She was on her last leg. She did what she had to do. She paid her dues. But the beautiful thing is she did all that stuff so that you don't have to do it. So she created the blueprint. Her hardships were the blueprint to be able to help you to go through it. I mean, it's turnkey. Like if you can't listen, if you need to get a small business loan, if you need to get a hard money loan, whatever you need to do to get the money to invest in yourself, to do this is what you need to do. And understand, look, she got her hand. I mean, first, get good at one thing, become an expert at one thing. I'm not telling you to do a whole bunch of stuff. But look at her. Now she's been able to expand her business and do all of these other things because she became an expert, a subject matter expert at one thing. And now look at, she has all of these other businesses and all of this passive income that's just coming in her business. That's money. Amen. Come on, you guys.
Say amen if you can.
Say amen and pass the collection plate. So in any case, I just want to make sure. He said big companies get a kickback to hire Black businesses. And James Moore he's a good friend of mine. He's also a trucker. And I think he has some Amazon contracts and things like that. But I would venture to say that, I have a couple of friends that have been telling me, hey, there's so much money out there in this government contract space. And I'm like, listen, I got to build this. I got to do this. I got to do this. But the way you made it sound like I could just give you this money.
Not even on the federal side, like even on the local side. We're not going to start building. Like infrastructure is where it's at. We got to get roads, bridges, and tunnels built. There are transportation opportunities on construction jobs. Mm-hmm. I had a flatbed, so I did a lot of construction-based projects. So even in my hometown, I'm from Virginia Beach, and there's a tunnel project right now. Tunnel project is $3 billion. 20% of that has to go to minorities. So if anybody wants to do the math, how many millions is 20% of 3 billion? That's how much money has to go right to that area from minority-owned companies. Every city and state has that. So
they have to allocate it to minority-owned companies, right?
You got to look where you are. Roads, bridges, tunnels. Like I said, airports. all that stuff is right there where you are. So I mean, colleges, that's huge. They do a lot of construction, even for like beds and furniture. That stuff has to be procured. Okay. And they do a lot of diversity contracts and so on and so forth. So we just got to look in the right place.
And I love what you said, because a lot of people are thinking about this. Oh, shoot, I don't know anything about bridges. I don't know. You are not the one out there doing the work. You are just managing it. If you have project management skills, you could handle managing a project. If you are organized, if you know how to outsource and procure and do all those things, that's what you're doing. Ain't nobody telling you to go out there and build no bridge.
Yeah, you're not the general contractor. I mean, I did a $200 million power plant. All I did was bring in the wide 25-foot wide ducts. That project lasted for 2 years, and they were paying me $5,500 a load to go 80 miles. So can you imagine how much money I was making? If I did 3 a day, but here I am just escorting my loads. Okay, y'all, here I am doing my permit, shutting down this tunnel so we can bring this freight through. Like, you don't see many of us in that sector, like shutting down a tunnel, escorting freight to bring it through this tunnel to take it where it has to go. And when I look up, I got over $100,000 in my account every month. What?
Come on, somebody. And to think about how, I mean, she's making it sound easy, and you do have to put the work in, but I think it is not as hard as you might think it is.
It's not. And you know what it started with? And this was when my company was on the last leg. I went to the port. I had my capability statement, folks, which is a statement of my capabilities. I had a brochure. I had a business card. I laid it out and had my red lipstick on. And I went in there and I crossed my legs and I put my hands like this and I told him what I wanted. Now, that particular day, nothing turned over. But 4 months later, he thought of me and he referred me for that job. And that is when my life drastically changed. That wasn't a government contract. That wasn't somebody, plugged me. I went in there on my own recognizance and said, hey. And you know what he said to me? He said, you know what? Nobody has ever come in my office and even gave me this spill. So it wasn't like a magic bean or a magic pill I took. I just asserted myself and said, I got this flatbed trailer. Let me call the port and see who's in charge of flatbed, freight. And let me go talk to him. And to this day, I'm still in contact with him. And he actually just opened a port in Delaware. So we'll be doing more business with him also.
Come on, somebody. That is so amazing. You know what's so funny when you talked about ghost LLCs, one of the things that, you see all over social media, everybody like, with your stimmy check, get your LLC. And people think that because you have an LLC, now you're about to be a game changer. You got this LLC and you ain't doing nothing with it.
You ain't doing nothing with it.
Here's an opportunity. Now make sure when you get there's more things that you got to do when you have an LLC. You got to get your LLC. You got to get your EIN. So then you go to irs.gov. Don't pay no third party to get you an EIN. You can go direct to the IRS because I've seen it. They charge $250 to get your EIN when you can go to the irs.gov and do it for free. Get yourself a Duns and Bradstreet number. So go to Duns and Bradstreet, and your business is not a legitimate business until you have a business bank account. So you have those 4 things. Now you are in business. Now you are official. Now you can start applying for these government contracts. So a lot of people got the game messed up. They're like, I got my LLC. Yeah. I'm finna buy the block. No, it doesn't go like that, sweetheart.
It doesn't work like that.
No, it doesn't work like that. But you have to start. You have to, again, the foundational things. And I love it that you came out the door with those things, because those are, you can't do business without them. So there's a couple of questions that I saw in here. Hold on. I love Bigfoot Trucking said, I made $250,000 with my truck last year. I'm not begging, I'm buying. Okay, that's what's up.
It's not hard to do at all. These trucks roll every day and they get paid for what they do. It's not hard at all.
Idea said, do you have a degree in project management?
Yeah, School of Hard Knocks. That's about it.
Come on, I got
months in college. Like I just couldn't do. I just couldn't do it. Like it's not I couldn't do it.
I got a PhD, a public high school diploma, so I know all about the School of Hard Knocks. I made my money off the spot market and local contracts getting in. Okay, right on. Good for you, sis. Keep it up. Come through. Thank you, Constance and Casey. How I get into it. So make sure you, Darian, make sure you rewind this broadcast and watch it. She's going to give you the game. So make sure also you're sharing this out, guys. Everybody that's on here under the sound of our voices, make sure you're sharing this out. Number one, more people need to know what Casey's doing, period. Everybody needs to be able to get in. When we talk about building wealth, you have to have multiple revenue streams. but get good at one thing and then push it out and do other things. Night Rider,
just DM me, boo. Just DM me, okay? At the Compass Circle, just send me a DM. I'm gonna get you together.
Night Rider, she's gonna get you together. All right, you got classes?
Yes. So this actually this Saturday in Memphis, Tennessee, I'm doing an owner-operator networking event. We still have a couple spaces left. I don't want to. All y'all don't come at one time now because it's COVID. I think we at 200 people right now. But if you can make it, we have a few spots left. If you go to the website and click the registration link, and this is a free class. This is free. Wow. If you are a truck owner or you have a CDL, you can come to the event. It's a networking event. I'm going to be doing a class on May 22nd. I will be taking that same class to Houston, Texas. Same rules apply. I don't know what I'm going to do after that because I feel like it's going to be so big. I might have to get like an arena or something with COVID. But I do classes. I have digital classes, oversized dimensional loads, trucking and contracting on the website. If you go to the website and look under the replay tab, those are moderately priced, $250, $299. All kinds of classes. I
got you covered.
I got you covered.
Does anyone know what this queen's name is? It is Casey, Miss Casey Cooper with the Compass Circle. Case the game through group economics. Change the game. Case changing the game. Okay. And James said he's going to hit her up. So listen, I know all you guys are hanging on her every word. Now what I want you to do is I want you to go to her website. I want you to sign up for one of the classes. If you only have $250, sign up for one of the classes. If you have $299, I want you to sign up for a one-on-one consultation with Casey. Figure out what you need to do. Invest that money in yourself. Please. If you don't take anything from this, you need to take action. Okay. And if you can invest the $10,000 into putting together your own trucking company, invest the $10,000. She got it all in the box. So she's the first person. You're the first person in the country that's doing this.
I'm the only person in the world doing this. I also last year I did an 8-day cruise in Miami down here on a boat. We had 10 people flying from all over the world. We ate, we jet skied, and we had a class on how to do your 8-day certification. I'll probably do that again this year. But like, I'm so innovative. I do a lot just by nature of what I do. A lot of people don't do it. So I try to do it with a twist so that you can get enjoyment out of it. And sometimes it takes you to usher in your new life, doing something new. Sometimes you want to do something new. Hey, let's go take this girl's class, but you're the only one in your circle that really wants to do it. So sometimes you have to take that step to just do something different. But I mean, that was another thing we did that nobody was doing an 8-day certification cruise. Nobody's doing that.
No, not a cruise.
Nobody's doing that.
Yeah.
Nobody's doing it. So I guess I'm the one. Let's go.
Let's go. So listen, you guys, she just started this business in December. So you're still in the early stages. Yep. So before them prices go up from 10,000 to 20,000.
Yeah. Because these prices, I mean, trucks grow 7,000 a week. So 10,000 for your own truck really is not, I mean, do the math.
I'll be wiring you my funds next week. I'm for real. I ain't playing with you. So y'all listen, you guys, make sure again, how can they find you on Instagram?
So my Instagram is at the Compass Circle. TheCompassCircle.
Instagram.
Yep.
Facebook.
The Compass Circle.
Website.
www.thecompasscircle.com.
I like
YouTube too. My YouTube really ain't popping like that, but it's very information packed. So you can really like binge on the videos. There's a lot of like tips and how I did this and how I took $20 and made $350,000. It's a lot of like different, videos on YouTube as well. The Compass Circle on YouTube also.
What you need to do is get on TikTok. Blow up on TikTok. Giving little tips.
Like
30 seconds. You don't got it, girl.
I thought it was for kids. I don't know.
No. Oh my God, girl, I got a TikTok. I be on TikTok. My kids are like, no, there are people that are giving great information and you could actually get more action on TikTok than you can on YouTube. So my YouTube page don't be getting no love. But my TikTok, I be getting 100,000 views on my TikToks. Wow. Some of them I be dancing, some of them I be rapping, but some of them I just give good information. And the people who are giving good information, they're getting millions of views. Wow. So this right here that you got right here is extremely unique. And you just drop 60-second tips and put a little caption on there. Boom. It's a wrap. On Instagram, Yes, on Instagram they have Reels, which is basically the TikTok version of for Instagram.
Right.
You be on there. Get your views up that way too.
Oh wow, thanks, girl.
Come on, man, monetize that fish, okay?
Monetize that thing. Oh,
yes, I love it. So you guys, thank you guys for tuning in. I know if you guys are halfway as excited as I am, then you are going to be taking action with this lady because she got the goods. And I'm always looking at ways that I can invest and make my money and grow my money and not blow my money. And that's what y'all need to do. Y'all about to get this little stimmy.
Okay.
Get your EIN, but get your LLC, get all of that stuff. But more importantly, get the knowledge and make sure that you hook up with Miss Casey Cooper and get that consultation so you can see what direction you need to go into. Okay. So you guys, thank you. Take care and God bless. We will see you on the other side. Oh, you know what? Did he show any of your pictures? Ain't she cute, y'all?
I'm done.
Look at it. Look at it. Ain't she cute?
CC, CEO, wanna change your life? Come see me, yo. I'ma teach you how to build up wealth for your family, not just for yourself. I'm a bestseller, house flipper,